So, you're ready to jump into the awesome world of gravel riding. But maybe the idea of picking out your first bike feels, well, a little overwhelming. Don't even worry about it. We are going to make this super, super simple. You've decided a gravel bike is the one for you. That's fantastic. But then you start looking around online and wham, it's just a wall of technical jargon, a million different specs, and a price range that goes from, is that a typo, to, am I buying a car right now? If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. And today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. All right, first things first. What even is a gravel bike? You can think of it, quite simply, as your do-it-all adventure machine. Here's the best way to picture it. A mountain bike? That's for super technical, gnarly trails and rock gardens. A road bike? That's all about pure speed on smooth pavement. The gravel bike, though? It sits in that perfect, beautiful sweet spot, right in the middle. It's the bike that lets you explore those cool forest tracks, cruise down dirt roads, but still feel really fast and efficient when you're back on the pavement. It's the ultimate all-rounder, for sure.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the budget. Money. How much should you actually be planning to spend to get a good first gravel bike?
So, what's that sweet spot we're aiming for? Well, for a really great first bike with quality parts, and this is important, you're generally going to be looking at a budget somewhere between $800 and $1,500 US.
Now, if you're watching from the UK, that works out to roughly 600 to 1,200 pounds. For our friends in Europe, you're looking at about 700 to 1,200 euros.
And for all you folks down in Australia, your target range is going to be between 1,200 and 2,000 Australian dollars. Trust me, sticking inside these ranges is going to get you a fantastic bike that'll last you for years to come.
Okay, you've got your budget sorted. Now let's make things even simpler. I want you to forget about those endless spec sheets you see online. We're going to ignore all the marketing hype and just focus on the 3 things that truly matter for a great first gravel bike. You get these right, and you're golden. First up, and I really can't stress this enough, hydraulic disc brakes. They are an absolute game changer. The control and stopping power they give you, especially when you're heading down a steep gravel road, is just night and day compared to older brakes. Number 2, the right frame size. This is so critical. A bike that doesn't fit you properly is just going to lead to pain and discomfort. My best advice? Just go to a bike shop and get properly measured. It's worth it. And third, make sure the bike has wide tire clearance. You want a frame that can fit at least 40mm wide tires. This just gives you so much versatility and makes the ride way more comfortable. All right, so just as important as what to focus on is what you can safely ignore, at least for your first bike. To keep your search simple and stress-free, here are 3 things you really don't need to get bogged down by. First, don't obsess over the frame material. Seriously, modern aluminum frames are amazing. They're lightweight, they're strong, and they'll save you a ton of money compared to a carbon frame. You can always upgrade later if you want. Second, don't get lost in the whole Shimano versus SRAM group set war. It just doesn't matter for your first bike. Both are fantastic. And finally, that whole 1x versus 2x drivetrain debate, honestly, for a beginner, both systems work perfectly well. Don't let that little detail stop you from getting a great bike. Now here's a massive tip for you. Buying new is not your only option. In fact, a well-maintained used bike will almost always beat a brand new entry-level bike. Why? Because you're getting a much higher quality bike for the exact same amount of money. It's a no-brainer. The used market is honestly an amazing place to look. So many people buy a fantastic bike, ride it for a little while, and then sell it in almost perfect condition. You should definitely check out places like eBay, Facebook Marketplace, BikeExchange.com, and Pinkbike. You can find some incredible deals on there. And here's the pro tip for how you buy a used bike with total confidence. If you find one you really like, but you're not an expert, just ask the seller if you can take it to a local bike shop for a quick inspection. For a small fee, a mechanic will give it a complete checkup. It is a tiny investment that gives you huge peace of mind. Okay, so let's put all this together. Let's say you've decided you'd rather just buy a new bike. Where should you even begin your search? You know what? I'd always suggest checking the used market first. If you're set on buying new, here are some absolutely fantastic, globally available brands that offer incredible value. So, in the US and Canada, check out models like the Trek Checkpoint, the Cannondale Topstone, or the Specialized Diverge. Over in the UK and Europe, the Canyon Grail, Cube Neurode, and Giant Revolt are all stellar choices. And in Australia, you absolutely can't go wrong with bikes like the Trek Checkpoint, Giant Revolt, or the Merida Silex. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? The most important thing is, don't get stuck in what they call analysis paralysis. Look, the perfect bike doesn't actually exist. The right bike is simply the one that gets you excited to get outside and go exploring on the weekends. So get yourself sized, pick a bike you love, and just start riding. The adventure is out there waiting for you.